The new moon in Leo on July 24th is one to especially pay attention to. This is because the Leo new moon is activating an astrological configuration that will be a powerful shaping force on the next couple of years and even beyond. This means that our choices matter, our revelations and insights we receive, the adjustments and reorientations we are making to our plans, our purpose on the path ahead can have a long-term impact. Of course, the new moon in Leo every year is significant in terms of being our annual solar reset. When the sun and moon unite in Leo, the fiery home of the sun, that central star around which our Earth and the rest of the solar system orbits, we likewise have the opportunity for a restoration of relationship with our own inner center. In astrology, the sun is the source of intelligence, reputation, vitality, authority, and visibility. Just like the rising sun brings new life every day, every year, the new moon in Leo illuminates how we are seen and creatively express ourselves, as well as how we are cohering the overall purpose guiding us forward. Yet this year, the new moon in Leo is activating another side of the sun, the night sun, the sun that must descend every evening into the darkness of the underworld, initiated into a mysterious journey through the darkness of night. In ancient cultures such as Egypt, the sun's night journey was a perilous descent through the underworld in which the sun had to confront a great serpent of chaos who threatened destruction of the life-giving solar light. The night sun overcoming death to rise and bring new life and purpose again to the world at daybreak is similarly mirrored in many ancient myths of a solar hero who also must descend to the underworld. Heroes like Heracles and Gilgamesh experienced a breakdown and purging of the previous identity and coherence in order to be purified and regenerate their relationship with their own essential character and their role of service to the larger collective. The Leo new moon holds the tension of the solar hero or heroine within us having to face an underworld guardian in the form of Pluto in Aquarius, as the new moon is applying closely to an opposition with Pluto. There will be both internal and external tensions that could reflect power dynamics we are facing in the world around us, both in our external relationships, but also within the inner tension found within our deep unconscious. And while Pluto can exacerbate contentious and difficult power imbalances and power dynamics, it can ultimately lead us through a phase of regenerative empowerment. And the Leo new moon, as a result, brings the opportunity to reclaim your power and take your power back from places in your world and your work where you have been giving it away. Hey, I'm Greg Crawford. I'm a professional astrologer. My books for August are open, and I still have some slots open in the second half of the month. I'll put a link below to my scheduler so you can book a consultation with me. If you're seeing this video before the new moon in Leo on July 24th, I also have a discount coupon code for 20% off my normal rate for consultations. Go to my scheduler in the link below and put in the coupon code Jupiter to receive that discount as long as you book before July 24th, at which point it's going to expire. The reason the Leo new moon has such strong underworld themes is not only because of the moon applying closely to an opposition with Pluto, it's also because of Mercury retrograde in Leo. In the days leading into the new moon, Mercury will be taking on an intensified presence of embodying its psychopomp role of guiding us into the underworld of our own deep unconscious. This is because Mercury will be shifting from being visible as an evening star following sunset into a disappearance in those shifting hues of sunset into its invisible phase in which Mercury is too close to the sun to be seen. In the week following the Leo new moon, Mercury retrograde will facilitate digging up old material as well as burning it off and shedding what no longer is serving us. Due to Mercury stationing retrograde on July 18th, within a week of the Leo new moon, the star of Hermes already has an intensified presence, but it becomes even more pronounced as Mercury shifts from that visible phase into that invisible phase and then gets closer and closer to a conjunction with the sun, taking on more and more of that fiery quality of the sun directly expressing itself in its fiery home of Leo. This makes the week following the Leo new moon not only powerful for shedding and releasing old identities, habits, or patterns that are no longer part of the new sense of purpose emerging, but also for deepening into a process of regeneration and reanimation of the essential purpose and work that we want to focus on in the cycles ahead. And making a confrontation with the past and the path forward, reorienting the direction that we are pursuing with our creativity and our work with the world even more powerful is that on July 23rd, the day before the new moon in Leo, Venus will be applying to a square aspect with Mars, with Venus in Gemini, the sign of Mercury, and Mars in Virgo, the sign of Mercury, as well as Mars forming a conjunction with the south node of the moon in Virgo, the sign of Mercury, and Venus in Gemini forming a square aspect with the lunar nodes. This is an incredible, pivotal confrontation with our path in the world. We might be having all sorts of deep material coming up related to our current relationships, relational patterns. There's all sorts of deep inner work and reflection that Mercury retrograde can help us facilitate, and it then feeding into this new sense of purpose and change that we want to bring into our life with the Leo new moon. This square between Venus and Mars is very pivotal because it is one of the major cyclical alignments of Venus and Mars within their cycle. The current Venus and Mars cycle began in February in 2024 on February 22nd in Aquarius. So you may have something related to Venus and Mars, related to relationships, related to what you want to attract and draw into your life with Venus, or creatively express with Venus, as well as what you want to fight for and protect and pursue with Mars that began back then. They then had two other major aspects. One, when they came into a square aspect on August 22nd of 2024, and again when they formed an opposition on December 12th of 2024. Since that time, we went through a Mars retrograde period that was going back and forth with oppositions with Pluto. And we also had a Venus retrograde period that was mixing together with Saturn and Neptune ending and beginning their cycle. And so this has been such an incredibly powerful time of changes and great uncertainty in the world this year. And so a lot of it is all coming together at this Leo new moon to give some insights about what to really envision for the year ahead. And like I've said, the Leo new moon is not only powerful for working through the inner tensions you are currently experiencing and revisioning what you want to create and accomplish in the lunar cycle ahead, but also in the year ahead because of the powerful astrological configuration it is activating. The Leo new moon is forming an opposition with Pluto in Aquarius, as well as a flowing fiery trine with Saturn and Neptune together in Aries, and an inspiring, liberating, invigorating sextile aspect with Uranus and Gemini that really amplifies the capacity for breakthrough insights. The reason this is such a powerful configuration that is connected to the year ahead is that in 2026, at the end of June, when Jupiter moves from Cancer into Leo, Jupiter will begin activating this configuration during the month of July as Jupiter comes into an exact opposition with Pluto and Aquarius on July 20th of 2026. And so during this month of July in 2026, Jupiter and Leo will be opposing Pluto, forming a flowing trine with Neptune, as well as that inspiring sextile aspect with Uranus. And really importantly, up until this point that Jupiter forms his opposition with Pluto, all of these aspects are also waxing and very growth oriented. And then a little bit over a week after this, at the end of the month on July 29th, there will be this powerful full moon in Aquarius forming at the same time as this Jupiter Sun conjunction in Leo that just really amplifies and illuminates this configuration because we now have this full moon coming in, even further activating it. This is just an incredibly powerful configuration. The very famous mundane astrologer Andre Barbeau, who predicted the COVID pandemic many years ahead, was very optimistic about this configuration and was hopeful that it would uplift humanity out of the difficult times he predicted that would occur around the year 2020 into this new stage of humanity really operating at its highest levels possible. And it is true that this configuration has so much coherence and so much harmony going on. And although it is difficult right now, given the state of the world and so much chaos and conflict and great uncertainty, to believe sometimes in that higher possibility, on our personal levels, this configuration really can bring in incredible change. And so, because this Leo new moon is essentially activating the same dynamic, we can get a felt sense right now, a felt vision of where we want to be in the next year and the years ahead, and aligning ourselves more deeply with whatever that feeling is, whatever that vision is, and making the adjustments we need to make. Because this configuration at the Leo new moon is mirroring that configuration that will be so powerful next year, it's likely we're getting very important messages right now about what needs to change, how we need to change. And this is going to involve deep inner work and looking at ourselves critically at times, making the adjustments that we need to make with our work, with our purpose, with our path, all things solar, because this is, of course, a Leo new moon. That's all about our reputation, the way we are seen in the world, the honors and purpose that we want to pursue with our work. And there is so much change going on in the world around us that we are also going to be feeling those changes within us. And so it can also be a very powerful time to make space, to meditate, to reflect, to journal, to do whatever you can to get in touch with that new life and growth and new desires emerging, those new creative directions and ideas becoming available to cultivate and pursue in the months ahead. And because the Leo new moon is forming this close opposition with Pluto in Aquarius, as well as a flowing, fiery trine with Saturn and Neptune in Aries, the exaltation of the sun. This is why this image of the solar hero having to descend into the underworld to be initiated in a redemptive process of breakdown and release of old identities, old personality coherence, to go through a process of purification and renewal and regeneration of not only their essential character, but also their role in the larger collective. And so we likewise might be experiencing a breakdown of the public role or persona. We may cohere to navigate the world with our work and be curious about whatever sort of process like that might be going on for you, because there is some sort of regeneration and transformation available at this time with not only the new moon in Leo, but as well as the Mercury retrograde in Leo process that will be going on until the middle of August when Mercury finally stations direct. This is a very powerful time to ask the question, why are you here? Why are you here in the world at this time of such extraordinary change, with all of the global power dynamics changing, with climate change and potential environmental calamities going on around us? So many incredible leaps of technology, which seem to be catapulting us really into unprecedented times. There's news stories coming up all the time about this, including even Facebook, of all things, announcing it's creating this Prometheus Center, which is, of course, incredible due to Uranus being in Gemini and Uranus being connected to the Prometheus archetype. There's so much changing. And so the question becomes, what is this larger role for you to play in all the great changes coming our way? What are you here to do? And how can you get more clear and focused on whatever that is? There's going to be a process underway in this lunar cycle ahead that, although you may have to go through adversity, although there may be some delays, there may be some diversions, there may be some challenges to overcome, there may be a need to do a lot of inner soul searching, there can be greater clarity and coherence on the other side once we get into the second half of August and Mercury is starting to move direct again. The story of the solar hero Heracles choosing Arete feels especially resonant to me with this Leo new moon, as well as the process of Mercury retrograde in Leo we are going to be undergoing. There was a old story about Heracles being at the crossroads and the goddess Arete appearing to him as a young maiden and offering him glory as well as a life of struggle against evil. At the same time, her counterpart, Kakia, which translates as badness, offered Heracles wealth and pleasure. Heracles chose to follow the path of Arete, even though it was full of more adversity, because it was the path that would connect him to his own essential nature. The translation of Arete can mean strength, it can mean intensification. It is the power that each thing has to express its own essential nature and reach its proper end. The goodness or excellence of a thing reaching and fulfilling its purpose. And so, this theme of being at the crossroads, doing the inner work to make the difficult decision and become clear about the path and purpose you have in the world to fulfill and pursue, is going to be a very important theme in the lunar cycle ahead. I'm also reminded of the work of Carl Jung in his Red Book, or Liber Novus, that documented his own descent into the underworld. Of course, Carl Jung is a Leo sun who went into the underworld And the Red Book is filled with all of these solar themes of night journeys into darkness and the underworld. At a critical juncture, Jung wrote, "The tension of the future is unbearable in us. It must break through narrow cracks. It must force new ways. You want to cast off the burden. You want to escape the inescapable. Running away is deception and detour. Shut your eyes so that you do not see the manifold, the outwardly plural, the tearing away and the tempting. There is only one way, and that is your way. There is only one salvation, and that is your salvation. Why are you looking around for help? Do you believe that help will come from outside? What is to come is created in you and from you. Hence, look into yourself. Do not compare, do not measure. No other way is like yours. All other ways deceive and tempt you. You must fulfill the way that is in you." Although there are many exciting as well as concerning external events occurring that can draw our attention, whether it is all of the innovations being made in technology or the very concerning power grabs and oppression being made by those in positions of power, there is going to be a necessity to do this inner work within the Mercury retrograde phase following this Leo new moon. And as we come to the end of July and Mercury is reanimated by the sun on July 31st, that will help bring greater coherence and clarity, but there will be especially greater momentum to begin embodying the new sense of presence and purpose that can emerge in the second half of August. And although we do need to do this inner work and we really can't look outside of ourselves because Pluto is in Aquarius and Uranus is in Gemini, air signs of humanity and interconnectivity, there is also an importance on community and building networks of supportive community, finding help and resources in community, and finding the way that this inner work you're doing to connect with your own inner purpose can then find roles and outlets to fulfill that purpose through the community around you. And so I hope this new moon in Leo combined with Mercury retrograde in Leo gives you the revelations and insights you need to find that purpose, clarify and cohere what you want to focus on, and find the community that you can be part of and express that purpose through. If you'd like to talk about the way the astrology is impacting you now, my books are open for consultations in August, and I still have some slots open in the second half of the month. I also have a discount coupon code Jupiter that is good for 20% off my normal rate for consultations as long as you use it before the new moon in Leo on July 24th. If you go to my scheduler, put in the code Jupiter before July 24th, you can receive 20% off a consultation with me. I'll also put a link below to my Patreon. I have an active Patreon community, and there is extra material and videos, as well as discounts of working with me that you can access by becoming a member. There are also 2 different tiers that each feature monthly meetings and classes. You can read more about it in the link below. Also, if you have not yet already liked and subscribed to my channel, please do, because it really does help me out. Well, that's it for now. I hope this Leo new moon puts you in touch with your essential solar purpose and the wisdom found within your own heart and center.